Hi guys, so today we're going to look at a few tricks in Adobe Flash to help make our animations a little bit more interesting and exciting. So we're just going to look at a small baseball animation that I've made. In fact, let's do Control Enter and see how this thing works. The baseball game. And we have a batter waiting to hit, a pitcher waiting to pitch, a bird sitting in a tree, and of course the sun floating in an arc through the sky above the misty mountains. How wonderful. And we just loop through it one more time. Okay? So let's look at how we can set up some of these different ideas in Flash. Now the first thing that I want to show you is how to make the sun do what the sun was doing. Okay, so let's go to just a new file. I'm going to make layer 1 of scene 1, the sun. We'll make a sun. Let's make it yellow. And I'm just going to take away that black border. I'm going to take my sun and I'm going to convert it to a movie clip called Sun. And it's now in my library. There it is. Now the sun starts here and finishes over here. Okay? So let's make that happen. At the start of the movie we're here. After 40 frames or so, we're going to move the sun over here. And let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's kind of jumping, isn't it? We can't see it moving in this area. It starts here and it finishes here, but I want to see it moving in here. So between the keyframes, let's create a motion tween. Now look what we've got. We can see it moving. Isn't that wonderful? So Control Enter, and there we have a moving sun. Now in my animation, the sun was an arc in the sky. It didn't move directly from left to right. It kind of went like this, up into the sky and down. So how can we do that? Well, one thing that we can do is say, okay, it moves, but around about here, it reaches a peak. So let's see what this looks like. Now it's going up, 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 up to there. And then it goes down, 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 down to there. So that's one way to make it look like the sun is rising and falling in the sky. Up it goes, and then down it goes. Check out that. It looks like a ball hitting a surface, doesn't it? Like a tennis ball or a ping pong ball. We don't really want it to look that direct. It's also going very quickly. Let's see if we can slow that down a little bit. Just drag those over there. Clear that keyframe. Kind of move that into the middle. What does that look like? Something like that. So that's slowed it down a bit. And off it goes. Now then, let me show you a trick in Adobe Flash. Just going to remove all of those frames. Now what we're going to do, we're going to create a motion guide. And what this does is it sets up something called a guide layer on top of the sun layer. And this guide layer, I'm just going to lock the sun layer for a minute. Let's focus on the guide. My guide is going to be an arc. And the way that I draw it is just a straight line which I bend. There's my guide. Now let's go back to the sun. The sun, at the start of the movie, is on the end of the guide. And after, for example, 40 frames, oh, we need to see the guide as well, so let's just give that 40 frames as well. Let's go back to the sun layer. At the end of 40 frames, the sun is on the end of the guide. Now look what happens. It follows the guide. Okay? So if I was to do something really stupid and look at my guide layer there and bend it like that, let's see what that effect has on the sun. Well, of course, it's just going to follow the guide. What does that look like when we play the movie? Is it going to show the guide? Let's have a look. No, it's just a guide, so we don't want to see that. Okay, so you get a very smooth motion effect using a guide. So let's just go back to a nice arc in the sky, and I'm going to make some more layers. I'm going to make a layer called land. Just going to use a rectangle tool, which is green with no border line. Going to make some land. Why is there a border line there? I didn't want a border line. Let's just delete all that. And I'm going to have a blue sky. So let's call that sky. And I'm going to just drag that. Now the sky, of course, is going to be blue. So we'll make a blue sky. And I don't want the black border. Where did that come from? What's going on? Now, of course, the sky is behind everything. So I need to move that to the bottom of my animation. However, I don't want the sky to be within this guide section. How can I get out of that? Oh, that's not what I want. Can I drag it away? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can just drag it out of there. That leaves the guide and the sun by itself, and the sky is back to a normal layer position. Maybe that's not important, but there you go. And another thing that I want is some misty mountains. Misty mounts. And my misty mountains are pretty much going to be... Let's just lock all these layers for a minute. Focus on the misty mountains layer. Just grey, misty mountains. So there's one. I'll fill that with some colour. And let's just go for a slightly darker colour for the second misty mountain. And I'm just going to do it all on the same layer. You might think, well, why is Mr. John not doing it on 2 layers? I don't want to do it on 2 layers, alright? I'm the designer. Stop giving me a hard time. And there we go. We've got some misty mountains. Now let's make those misty mountains, if we select them, symbols. Misty mounts. Okay. And let's put them behind the land. There you go. That's better. And, now that we've got it as a symbol in our library, we can mess with the color effect. And I'm going to play with alpha. And alpha has a percentage that I can play with. Check it out. So I'm just going to go there. Wow, that's very misty. Look at those misty mountains. Control Enter. We're starting to build a scene for the movie. It looks like the mountains are in front of the sun. That's fine. I don't mind that effect. It is a cartoon. It's not serious. Okay, brilliant. And from there, we can mess with some other effects in later tutorials. So have a go. See if you can make a misty mountain scene with a rising sun. Thanks for watching.